What's going on, Aquarius? And welcome to my channel, Alchemist. Justin here, and I hope you're having the most fantastic month so far. So for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support really is just the best, Aquarius. And it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy Higher Self has brought you here. We are in for an amazing journey. And let me tell you why, especially Aquarius, because it is Celestial News Monthly. Oh, Aquarius, I love this time of the month. I mean, really, how could you not get geeked for Celestial News Monthly? I was telling the last few signs, it's just like, I feel like every time I do this, I hope everyone's like, hell yes, Celestial News Monthly. But Aquarius, with this monthly spread, whenever the sun moves to a new sign, we're going to talk about where the planets are at and how we can work with the energies. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one, so take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me, and never force a reading on a situation, okay? So with all that being said, let's jump into it. Alrighty, your space has been cleansed. Crystals, feeling lovely. Just great energy all around here, Aquarius. So I have some oracle cards here with the zodiac signs that each of the planets are in. We're going to, well, you're going to chill. I'm going to pull some oracle cards from this deck for each one, and then I'm going to get some details with the tarot. But before we jump into this thing, these readings that I do, they're not gender-specific readings, so apply these energies to people as they make sense for your situations, okay? And in case if y'all were curious, the decks that I'm working with, I've included links for them down in the description box below, so definitely check that out if you're interested. But also down below are some links for some other readers that I like watching Aquarius, so definitely give them a look out. Nice, it's nice every now and again to kind of just like see how the energies are being read from like person to person. It's really interesting like how that how they all tap into their intuition and see how that works. So definitely check them out, Aquarius. But before we jump into your first card here, thank you by the way. Let's talk about the party that Leo's getting ready to throw here soon, because you got the sun's getting back at home in Leo, and then Venus, she's going to be doing her let's see what's a good dance move. She's going to be doing her retrograde sidestep here. No, I could have did better than that. Sidebar, I've been trying to do a different dance move for Venus's retrograde, and she really does a lot, so we're just going to keep moving on from that. But let's talk about the sun, because the sun's going to enter on the 22nd of July at about 8:50 p.m., and that's going to be Central Time, and we'll be there through the 23rd of August. And with this energy, Aquarius, you know, with the sun coming back home, it's like, you know, he's made his round around the zodiac, and so now he gets to just kind of kick back, relax, and just kind of maybe just take a nap for a little while, just kind of enjoy his energy. And that's what this part of this is, Aquarius. Is going to be very, very rejuvenating, revitalizing type of energy that's going through right now. And also, Leo deals with, like, you know, the sun and Leo, they're associated with the 5th house, and this is a great time for really kind of tapping into like that inner child energy, you know, being playful, you know, going out and having some fun, and really tapping into that creative side of you as well, Aquarius, because you know, you and when I think about you and Leo, because, you know, Leo's your opposite sign, you know, I feel like you two are very creative in very different ways. You know, Leo for me is like jazz, where you are like classical. Both are very beautiful, but it's just like how they go about how they approach the same thing is it's very fascinating. So I really feel like this is an energy too, to allow you to like really kind of relax a little bit more into your creativity there, Aquarius, because with those innovative thoughts, I mean, you can really do a lot with this. But also, you know, if we happen to, you being a sign of the collective, you know, if you've been thinking about doing a little dating there, I mean, it might be a little tricky with Venus being retrograde, but it's not impossible, you know, to maybe think about some romance and things. You know, Leo's big about romance as well, so another thing to think about there, Aquarius. And just really reminding yourself of all of the joyful and fun experiences that life has to offer, because yeah, you know, there's always a lot of, and that's not taking listen, we're not ignoring, like, you know, the stuff that's going down, all the changes and the obstacles and things, but I feel like we got to make sure to have like at least a little bit of balance. You know, it's like how, you know, sometimes, and listen, this is not bashing the news or anything, but it's usually just a bunch of doom and gloom all the time. It's just like, where's that, you know, where's that Yeah, that just that balance, that harmony. So just remembering that also, Aquarius. But then Venus is going to be should be going retrograde on the same day that the Sun is going to be entering on the 22nd of July, and then will be retrograde through the 3rd of September. And with this energy, Aquarius, this is like finding different avenues of expression, you know, whether this be through, I mean, yours is a sign of technology as well, so this could be maybe doing some, creating some apps, or maybe even building computers, or maybe you're being intuitive in science, math, you know, you can, just because, you know, even though we have this divide, not just, as I actually kind of talked with an Aquarius about this, even though we kind of have that divide between like that creative kind of spiritual side and that more kind of analytical, mathematical, scientific type of side, there is innovation in that. That doesn't make the science and the math and things any less magical. You know what I mean? So this is really finding ways, unique, innovative ways, unconventional ways of expressing yourself through whatever outlet that you find passion in, Aquarius, and really to becoming the artist of your life with confidence, you know, and also to create a space for self-love and to be confident in your in bold and courageous in your uniqueness, you know, because yours is a sign of freedom, and I feel like that's also again of like expression as well. So I feel like if you've been like hindering or like diminishing your gifts, or you know, saying that something is weird, or you know, that it goes against the grain or something along those lines, perfect, then you're on the right track, Aquarius. That's exactly what you need to be doing, because that's exactly what this energy needs. You know, we're getting ready to get into, you know, I feel like this year is getting ready to get you ramped up, get you organized, get you thinking about how you want to bring it when Pluto really gets settled into your sign. Because it's interesting that he's going to be getting settled in right around, I think it's either the day of or the day before your birthday season. I think it's the day before your birthday season, so, or excuse me, the day of your birthday season. So auspicious timing there, Aquarius. Let's get your first card here. Oh, talk about auspicious abundance. Look at this. You got the 9th card of Cancers here, which is the rainbow card. Look at you. Wish granted. First thing on there, Aquarius. And this is the first card. Oh, well, now that I said that, the rainbow card is the card of wish granted, serendipity, blessing, patience pays off, abundance, hope, good luck, patience, promise, godsend, creation, manifesting wealth, prosperity, and perfect timing. So the energies that are really coming through, Aquarius, I feel like that it's the patience pays off in the hope, because where you are, you are a conundrum in every sense, Aquarius, because when you even think about your rulers, you know, Saturn is very much kind of like slow. That's like that kind of, I was talking about Capricorn, they share a ruler, Saturn, with you. And I'm always talking about how, you know, being patient and being, you know, tenacious, and you're just like reminding them that, you know, it's going to pay off in the long run here. You know, this is something when we're working towards like accomplishments, and, you know, that you know, Capricorn deals with like careers and things, but and with you even just being about the future, when it comes to the future takes time to build whatever that's looking like. So that's where it's like it almost feels like that. It's like you see the big picture, but it's just like it's remembering that. I feel like for some it's just like remembering that, enjoying the process of getting to that future, as opposed to already wanting to be there, you know, because I feel that maybe sometimes with your mind it can be where, because you do have a brilliant mind, Aquarius, and to be able, I feel like sometimes the future can be so exciting and so vast and so grand that sometimes that can get us removed from the present, and you know, and forgetting about the details and the steps that need to get put in there, and the work that it takes to get to that future state. And the thing is too, this gives me very much kind of like a 10 of Cups vibe. It can even get into like the 10 of Pentacles too, but when we're thinking about those energies, we may never reach those goals completely there, Aquarius, because it's like as soon as we achieve one thing, there's always another thing and another thing and another thing and another thing, and it's just like that's again, that's not to get to where we're to be in this place of being overwhelmed or to feel disheartened or anything along those lines. Is to get excited, because at least you know that for the duration of this journey, you are always going to have something to do. There's never a place or a point in time where you could be bored. You know what I mean? You can always keep challenging your mind and keep growing and prospering and manifesting wealth and making abundance. It's all, and not even just perfect timing, it's divine timing. You're exactly where you need to be on your journey. But just like, because I feel like that's where, and that's a unique, I feel like, problem to be in, to be wrapped up in that maybe kind of future thinking with Uranus being your ruler. Because my sun sign's in Cancer, and Cancer is rooted in the past, and we use the past to learn from our present to manifest the future. And I feel like that, it's like, because I was just even thinking about what I was about to say. It's like you're about to, it's almost like you need to learn from the future to, or think about the future to apply that to a present. I'm not sure. It's very, the way I feel like you manifest intuition is very different, Aquarius. And I think that that's something where there's going to be a need of just like remembering that hope, and to, again, to find the thing that really, just more so with this type of energy here, just kind of fills your cup. And I feel like that, as long as it's giving you that, like, if you find that thing that can help you keep that drive going, then the patience will pay off in the long run here. I hope that makes sense. But let's get some tarot on this. And sidebar, Aquarius, I got this deck not too long ago. I love it. It's a super cool deck. Based off this anime, that's really cool. But if you can see here, these cards are like super long. It's a little excessive. So this is like one of the first times I ever had to like practice shuffling with the deck. So that's been an interesting energy there, but we're getting there. Thank you. All right, Aquarius. Let's see what we got here. Nice. All right, we got some Libra energy here. Let's see what's going down. Alrighty, so you have the Justice card, the Three of Wands, the Nine of Cups, and then the Four of Wands here, Aquarius. And I like this, especially with this Nine of Cups and Justice here, because the Nine of Cups is really, to me, it's like that passion. You know, when you really love something and you like, it's all you think about. You know, when you're eating, when you're sleeping, it's just like that. It's being in that energy all the time. You know, like, let's say, for example, if we like math, you know, maybe we're doing something where we're challenging ourselves with different equations. Maybe you're looking for different careers where you can kind of flex these mathematical skills, or maybe we're even joining like clubs, like, you know, reading materials. It's like, it's being in the energy that you want to attract there, Aquarius. And you know, the Justice card is a card of cause and effect. You know, thinking about whatever energy that you're putting in is what you're going to get back. And I feel like with this, because sometimes I feel like when we think about the future, because it can seem so vast, so broad, and you can come at it from so many different ways, that can even get to this state of, in a sense, it's almost like your vast way of thinking limits your options. You know what it's weird. Like, it like almost can get to where like can limit your expansion, because it's just like we see just all the potential in things, and it's just like, which one would you like to bring to completion with the Four of Wands here? It's just like, which one is going to bring you the most happiness, you know, the one that really kind of fuels your fire here, because the Three of Wands and the Four of Wands is strong Aries energy here. This is Sun in Aries, and then this is Venus in Aries. So it's, that's even interesting too. I feel like it's, because Aries is very passionate energy, and I feel like it's, I feel like one thing to kind of just like ease up the burden, I feel, and make this journey feel like more of a blessing, and maybe even bring more a sense of like of abundance and serendipity and things, is aligning yourself, because like the Sun deals with like ourself, our will and things, and then Venus, you know, about I feel like what we love and like where Well, let me get a little bit more on this Justice card here, Aquarius. Aquarius. There we go. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so the Justice card is clarified by the the Queen of Pentacles, the Two of Pentacles, and then the Ten of Swords here. And I feel like that it's I almost feel like for some of you, like it gets to the state of I feel like with the Two of Pentacles, it's almost like, and the Queen of Pentacles, it's just remembering, because sometimes I feel like, again, when we think about towards like the future and like, you know, what a manifesting abundance and wealth and what prosperity looks like for us and things, and the creation aspect of it, you know, when we're trying to figure out what that thing looks like, you know, it's like, I feel like there's a sense here of like needing to I almost feel like for some, maybe we feel like we don't have like the resources that we need to get this thing done, or maybe we're having troubles, even like it seems like that when we try to get these things off the ground here, possibly that there seems to be just like maybe you see how this Ten of Swords is a little aggressive, how this guy's got like all these swords in his back and things, and maybe that's how it's been feeling for some, and it's been kind of waning down on our on our patience, and maybe even kind of draining our resources, and maybe even kind of got ourselves was thrown our flow off. But if something has been, when we get in those states, Aquarius, I feel like that's when we, because then that's messing up with our vibration here as far as what we're attracting once we get off that flow there. And I feel like when we do, that's a time when the Four of Wands comes in for us to kind of check in before we get to the state of hitting like a real low before we come back up here. But I don't know, Aquarius, it's a very interesting energy of like maybe feeling that we can't accomplish these goals, or that it's just like, are we, you know, I feel like it's like maybe we've been doing like the meditation and things, or maybe even like, I don't know, like maybe looking into different resources, or yeah, but it still feels like that there's something here that it seems to just lead us maybe back to this state of bottom again, or something along those lines. It's like 2 steps forward and 4 steps back is this type of energy. So I feel that if there is something that again is like limiting your expansion, then it just feels like that there just needs to maybe be some readjustment here. Maybe I feel like with the Queen of Pentacles, it's just like we're gonna really need to tap into our abilities to kind of find out like where is the source of imbalance happening, so that we can correct this thing. Yeah, I hope that yeah, that's very interesting. I hope that made sense, Aquarius. All right, Aquarius. Oh, I forgot. Speaking of this energy here, depending on where your Aquarius placements are at, and that might be where some of this tension is coming in here, because you got some tough aspects going on right now, Aquarius. Depending on where your Aquarius placements are at, the Sun and Venus are going to be forming oppositions with your sign. And oppositions they bring polarity and tension and challenges and things. It'll be one of those situations where it's like a situation, or a person will bring about a choice that'll need to be made here, you know. And it's like it could be something that may be kind of challenged, like maybe not necessarily what we believe, but oppositions are just they're tough energies to integrate. But I feel that, because like for example, I was saying, you know, finding where that source of imbalance, or or that lack of harmony or something in this lines, maybe with what we're doing or what we're trying to achieve. Whether then listen, this is not just for like a career. This could be in like our in either like our health, maybe in like our spirituality, our emotions, anything along those lines. But it just, yeah, they when you're able to integrate those two energies, it can be very rewarding in the long run. But it just it feels like sometimes it feels like it's challenging your expansion and really having you kind of like pushing you outside of your comfort zone there, Aquarius. So just something to think about there, that energy. But let's get some tea and let's talk about Mars. Well, Mars, and let's talk about Virgo, because as you can see, I'm excited to talk about Mars. But Mercury and Mars are going to be in Virgo. And Mercury is going to enter Virgo on the 28th of July and will be there through the 4th of October. And with this energy, Mercury rules over Virgo. And with this energy, this is going to be, Virgo is very analytical, very organized, detail-oriented. They're all about the routines, day-to-day jobs and things. So this is going to be a very productive cycle for us, Aquarius. Our minds are going to become a lot sharper. Our powerful analysis for analyzing information is stronger. Communication is clearer. And I don't feel like it's just with just like in general here. I feel like the communication could even become stronger within yourself, because one of your rulers, Saturn, is in a very spiritual sign right now, and it's going to be over the next 3 years. So this could even be something like a connecting with that intuitive side of you, your higher self there, Aquarius. So something to think about there. But another thing to be aware of with Virgo energy, you want to be mindful about being hypercritical, because Virgo, they're known as the virgins of the zodiac, but it's more so in the sense that like they're trying to bring that purity, that bring perfection in whatever they do, and sometimes trying to attain that perfection, they can be really harsh on themselves, because perfection is hard to achieve there. But just something to think about there. And then you got Mars that's going to be in Virgo. We entered Virgo a little while ago, back in I want to say it was the 10th or 11th of July, and will be there through the 27th of August. And with Mars being in Virgo, you take the planet of communication, thinking, our Mercury, and then apply that with the planet of action, drive, passion, and things. We really, this again, very productive cycle here. We can be very efficient with this energy. So this is something where if you got a lot of maybe like monotonous things to do, or maybe some detailed work, or maybe we're trying to get into a routine or something, this is, I feel like, is a prime time for really working this energy and just kind of buckling down and get things in order there, Aquarius. Whatever this future thinking is too, it maybe even help you along there. So let's get go. All right, Aquarius. See, efficient. I'm with it. Oh, and look at all this Cancer energy, Aquarius. You got the 4th card of Cancer here, which is the Mirror card. You missed Cancer season already? I get it. No, but this is a card of self-aware, seeing clearly, ego, facing issues, self-assessment, self-improvement, insecure, make comparisons, reflection, obsess, narcissistic, vain, self-love, and self-appreciation. Interesting, Aquarius. So the energy that's coming through here is the ego. And this almost feels like it doesn't give me like a sense of that. Or it almost feels like that with this. It's paying attention to, because listen, Aquarius, you're being a fixed sign, because I have a lot of fixed energy in my chart, but you being your sun sign is a fixed sign. Sometimes we can get to this place of where we're stuck on an idea, and if it's hindering this state of abundance, pay attention to the things. I feel like it's pay attention to the things that we are attaching to. I feel like with this ego energy that's kind of popping through here, because there's not, I feel like there is a healthy amount of ego that can be, reflected in life. It's finding a balance here, but I feel like that if you have something that I don't know, it almost feels like that there's like it gives me almost like a dogmatic type of energy where we're like really kind of it just paying attention to that. If you're either facing personal issues with that, or maybe there might even be maybe either like maybe another that might be, because interesting that you would start off with the Libra's cards deals with relationships, and you're in the middle of an opposition right now, or will be, that maybe for some that maybe someone is trying to even impose their will on you. Very, very interesting energy in here. And I don't feel like it may not be something where necessarily someone's trying to be oppressive with you, but it feels like that maybe there's this environment or something, a situation that is not letting you really kind of shine through here. Very interesting energy that's coming through here, but I do feel like there is a need for almost like if we've maybe been feeling like, I don't know, it almost feels like that our true selves have been shown through. Just like, you see how she's just kind of, there almost gives me this sense of like, because you know how sometimes when we look at the mirror, Aquarius, how we can kind of, very Virgo energy, how we can just kind of like break ourselves down. Sometimes it's like, she's looking great, but she may be thinking that there's like, oh, I hate this dress, you know, oh, like what's going on with the hair, you know, just like all that type of stuff here. And I feel like there's a sense of, maybe even almost like this, like really getting a stronger sense of discovering who you are, who I am, you know what I mean? Very, very kind of deep energy here, Aquarius. Let's get some tarot on this, because I feel like that maybe if maybe these are even some like questions that we need to ask ourselves, just like, who do you really want to be? You know, what wishes do you want to grant? Have you been even staying true to your dreams and things? Maybe this is somewhere where again, maybe we've sacrificed something, where let's say you wanted to be, maybe you wanted to be like I don't know, let's say she's a model, for example, but then you decided, because the justice card can deal with law, and it's like you've gone into law, and it's not saying that you need to quit your job, but maybe there's just a need to let your energy shine through more here, Aquarius, like maybe finding some outlets to kind of express the ego. But the interesting energy that's kind of popping in my head too, I keep getting this on a loop, is that, you know, the one thing with, you know, why, you know, with you being the opposite sign of Leo, is that means that the sun is in detriment in your sign. And so the energy's a little bit weak in there, and it takes us a little while to kind of come into our sun signs. You know, when we're younger, we really more so lean into that intuitive energy, either like our moon sign, or, you know, how we appear to others as our rising sign. But this energy even feels like, I mentioned that about the sun being weakened in your sign. It's not to say that it's, you don't have more energy there. It's just like it's probably just going to take a little bit longer to develop. But man, when it shines, I feel like it really is going to shine here, Aquarius. But oh, and there's, speaking of your ruler there. Oh, and then there's the moon. I see that. I like that. Interesting energy here, because you have the, you know what, I think I'm gonna move this around a little bit, Aquarius, since you got all this Pisces energy and Saturn and Pisces, because you got the Eight of Cups here, which is Saturn and Pisces, the Seven of Wands, and then the Moon card, which is Pisces. And with this energy here, Aquarius, I do feel like that there's a need to kind of go, maybe tap into a more kind of like a deeper side of yourself, you know, really kind of explore maybe even some like darker aspects, or, you know, as it makes sense, you know, like if we have maybe like low self-esteem, you know, maybe overly critical of ourselves, or maybe been in a state of doubt, or, you know, maybe even like maybe even with like because, you know, being patient and being told to be patient always, you know, is never ideal. And maybe that even has got us to the state of where it's like, you know, we're dealing with some, considering this Cancer energy here, you know, maybe we're dealing with some intense emotions possibly, you know. And it is, I feel like with air signs, it's not that you don't understand emotions. It's just that you approach it from a logical standpoint, and where that does serve its place. I tell Cancer this all the time. It's finding a balance, and that deals with also on the flip end, because I'm telling you, it's like it's one thing to feel this stuff, but then once you've felt it, it's just like processing this thing. And I feel like it's another thing to understand something, Aquarius, but you got to feel it to really experience what's going down, to see where this stuff is trying to lead you here. So I do feel like that maybe for some there is this need of, there may be some things that we may be kind of holding on to that have become ingrained, but we don't maybe see them as issues, because on a logical standpoint, we do understand what's going down here. But it's just like on a more emotional standpoint, are we feeling how that still is damaging? You know what I mean? It's just like we can be so geared. And when we talking about that relationship again with that, like Cancer being rooted in the past and stuff, and Aquarius in the future, it's like maybe for some we're doing like a Knight of Swords energy, which is one of your cards for me, and it's like we're breezing past we're processing it, but not really. It's like not really being in it. So I feel like with the Eight of Cups here, there's a need to kind of do maybe a deeper type of soul searching type of here. Really tap into that kind of inner healer or something along those lines, or really provide that energy some healing, so that after we've had that chance to reflect, we can shine brighter, and really kind of be in our energies and come renewed. Because after the moon in the tarot is the sun, so, and right before the moon is the star card, your card. And so I do feel like that there's a connection with that, Aquarius, and I do feel like that with some reflection and some appreciation for who you are again. And yeah, because the ego, it's not really giving me like it's necessarily getting in your way. It's more so that maybe for some it's like we're almost even like misunderstanding our ego. Maybe it's like we're thinking that because we're so unique in things, that maybe that's bad or something. I'm not quite sure what that is, energy. But I'm not sure that energy is Aquarius. But whether this is you, or maybe this could even be some others, just considering considering the energies that are here, this could maybe even be some others. And if that's the case, we may need to think about possibly putting up some boundaries. Alright, but it's something to think about there, Aquarius. Alright, now let's consider we're talking about all this Pisces energy, because this has been going around. Your ruler Saturn has been in this Pisces energy, has been going around for a lot of the signs. Because with Pisces energy, we got Saturn that's retrograde in Pisces, and then Neptune is also retrograde. Now your ruler is going to be retrograde until the 4th of November. And with this energy, this is asking, what have we been doing up until this time? It's very much Saturn's a bit of a hard ass. He's just coming through, kind of asking, like, have we been working towards our goals? Have we been fulfilling our dreams, been manifesting abundance? And listen, abundance comes in all forms. Life is more than just about getting just like the job and things. It's about having that. How's your body feeling? Does it feel good? Are we emotionally? How are we feeling spiritually? Have we made time for that? Are you having fun? Do you want to travel? What are your dreams? Have we been, because it can be, and again, it doesn't matter how big or small. This can be as big as starting up a whole village. I don't know why you're starting up a village, but why not? Or just as simple as just like getting out of bed. Both major accomplishments here. But it's, if we haven't been working towards those goals, or if there are things that have been hindering us and things, those are the things that Saturn wants us to work on, so that we can get to this sense of fulfillment in things. Because Pisces energy deals with escapism. That's one of the energies that they embody, along with Neptune as well. That fantastic realm, that dream realm and stuff. But Saturn wants us to take, so I'd say that to say that we want to be mindful of any sort of means of distractions or things that are hindering our growth or getting in the way of this process here, and if they are, how they are affecting us in a sense. But also you got Neptune that's retrograde in Pisces and will be retrograde until the 6th of December. And this energy is really, really nice because, I've been reading this book, and it's, every time it gets to talking about like Uranus energy in particular, your other ruler, there's always this talk of intuition, like a really strong intuition. And I feel like it's almost that state of clairvoyance, or like that more so kind of like that future type of sight that you have there, Aquarius. There's something really kind of strong with that. And I do feel like that energy is something that warrants being explored, more really kind of tapping into that spiritual side, because Neptune and Pisces is Neptune's at home in Pisces, super intuitive energy. And where Neptune normally deals with like the hidden and the mysterious, the dream realm, illusions, things along those lines, it's like now with this her retrograde, it's like the veil has been lifted, Aquarius. We can kind of peek behind the curtain here, really kind of tap into that more divine realm. So really, when you get a moment, creating this routine of just like, getting into whatever that intuitive space looks like for you, and see what sort of epiphanies and things really come to you, because I feel like that's where a lot of that innovative energy just comes through and shines there, Aquarius. But let's get get an oracle on this. Oh, interesting. Here's a little Libra here. So you got the 6 card of Libras here, which is the Repairman card. And with this card, this is a card of repair, fine-tune, heal, fix, many working parts, reset, proceed carefully, needs fixing, make adjustments, recover, skilled, make things right, mend, restore, and upgraded. And there's this... The energy that's coming through here on this one, Aquarius, is the healing energy. And I almost feel that, just considering that you have the mirror card, and the rainbow here, that maybe there's this reflection for some, that, or this energy for some, that it's that maybe we've been processing so much that we haven't had taken the time to like take a break. Maybe we've been because when you're doing that sort of like self-reflection and really kind of coming into yourself, kind of opening to your, being, taking time to meditate, that finding those moments of stillness and things along those lines, I do feel that that's a lot, when you're taking all that stuff on. And sometimes you do need a break from that, just to kind of just essentially to reset a little bit, just like, and to really process everything that has happened. So I feel like that there's a need to, just for some, maybe while because this energy gives me like a lot of growth, and it's like, it's one where I do feel like, again, and I know how this sounds, but I feel like the patience is going to pay off in the long run here. But it's going to be the words that popped in my head is a very delicate process, especially when we're dealing with, I feel like, questions of like ego, and questioning like what does really kind of fulfill us, where do we want to be channeling our energies, and how do we keep that energy going when we're feeling challenged and things, how to keep that balance. But it just feels like that maybe there's a need to just kind of make some just like some minor tweaks to maybe how, like, it's almost like trying to, because it almost looks like they're working on a little watch time, or a little timepiece there, and it feels like that maybe it's just like kind of like shuffling our time around a bit. Maybe we're somewhere we're so focused on like the getting towards the fulfillment or working towards the dreams and things that we don't take enough time to maybe do some stuff like enjoy ourselves a little bit. Maybe going for hikes, or going to a movie, or maybe going out for dinner, or even cooking dinner. Maybe even with just like may not even have enough time, but even feels like that. Even in that sense, it's like, yeah, making some sort of like making some sort of like tweaks maybe to our routines or something along those lines. Aquarius, let's get some tarot on this. Alright, Aquarius, let's see what we got here. Interesting. Alright, Aquarius. So you have the Seven of Swords, the Nine of Swords, the King of Swords, right, the Two of Cups, and then the Knight of Wands here. And it feels like that there's a lot of information that we may be processing, Aquarius, with this King of Swords energy coming through here. Whether this be about I feel like it is a lot about maybe ourselves, but just with the Two of Cups, there's this energy here of, I do feel like needing again to just like kind of connect with ourselves. The Knight of Wands gives me that maybe we've been maybe just kind of like pushing things along, and it's not to say that you're not like having fun or taking time to heal in betweens, but it just seems like that maybe we just been sort of just like kind of, because Knight of Wands has he's very passionate energy, and when he sets his sight on something, he's gonna go out and get it, and just keep going for it and just give all his energy. And I feel like that for some, maybe there's this need of, again, maybe just of like some self-care in things, and just like really kind of needing to slow down a little bit, because with the Nine of Swords, there may be something that's, the Knight of Wands operates from a place of passion, but this feels like that we're operating, because you got with the Nine of Swords and the Seven of Swords here. I'm not sure if there's this energy of where we may be, it almost feels like that maybe we don't, let me get a little bit more on the Seven of Swords here, Aquarius, before I get a little bit more into that. Interesting. Okay, so the Four of Swords is clarified by the Eight of Swords here, Aquarius. And so, I feel like for some that maybe, you got a lot of thinking energy here, Aquarius. And I feel like maybe for some of us, we've been in our head a lot. And the Knight of Wands is giving me more so, it gives me reactive energy, is what's going down here with this Knight of Wands. And especially since you got Eight of Swords, Nine of Swords. And there's been a little bit of that going down here, I've noticed as well, for some of the signs this week. For maybe for the month, is that being mindful of where our thought process is at and the things that we may be telling ourselves. And maybe even like healing from some of these, maybe even like lies or deceptions that we may have told ourselves, for example, like maybe we can't achieve our goals, or even if there's something like with the self-esteem things along those, or something along those lines. But being an air sign in particular, Aquarius, your thoughts are very powerful. You know, thoughts become things, and we got to be mindful of where your head's at. You know, I know it's hard to get out. We know when we get caught in that spiral, it can be hard to get out of that loop. And you got the Ten of Swords here. I thought so. This has been happening a lot with a like this a combination of this 9, 8, 9, and 10 of Swords here. And the thing with these are all Gemini's minor arcana cards. And Gemini is a sign of duality. And I feel like that it's when if we're in a state of doubt, or, you know, whatever this maybe is that we might be telling ourselves that we're bringing our, whatever it is that we may be telling ourselves that's either keeping us down or that's preventing this flow, preventing even like this connection with like our manifestation, or even connected with like our higher selves or something along those lines. Yeah, this is something we got to get eyes on, because I feel like it's going to get to this place of where our thoughts are going to lead us to this pit. And you know what? Even if it does, Aquarius, that may be the point. And the beautiful thing about that this is where that duality comes in, because we could either see it as though we've hit rock bottom and that we're just screwed, or use this as a teachable moment with the King of Swords here, because this is Gemini energy as well. Rules the first 2 decades of Gemini and the last to Taurus. And so I feel like King of Swords, he's evaluating his where he's not feeling secure. And he's learning from these experiences, you know, from having gone through that stuff. And now we're thinking about what ways can we restore that sense of community, that we can heal what has been done here. But I do feel like that for some, if you've been maybe in your head a lot, and the narrative hasn't been conducive to growth, because I mean, come on, I mean, 7, 8, 9, 10 of Swords is like you're going, and it's like it even almost feels like that we see that we're getting ready to get into a spiral or get ready to get to a certain situation, but it's like, well, maybe we can still pivot, maybe we can still change. And it's like you can, but it's going to be a need to change your mindset. There's like a certain, because the King of Swords is, he's, you know, that wisdom, you know, but it's like it's taking, the only way to get that wisdom is to take what we've learned from these experiences here and to put them into action. Right? Yeah, very interesting energy here, Aquarius. Yeah, but yeah, there's been a lot of that going down here. With this 9, 8, 9, 10 of Swords here. So I feel like we are. And see, that's the thing too, Chris. It's not just you. We're all thinking about this stuff here. You know, thinking about, you know, what foundations, you know, where we're going in life. You know, a lot of these challenges. So know that you're in good company. Now let's talk about Taurus energy here, because with Taurus, and this is going to be maybe another tricky one here for you, Aquarius. Because with Taurus, you got Jupiter that is in Taurus, and then you got your other ruler, Uranus, that's been in Taurus for the last few years, and still got or last like about 5 years, still got a couple more to go. And let's talk about your ruler first, because Uranus is going to be in Taurus until about July 7th, 2025. And, you know, Uranus has been, you know, Uranus brings in the future. You know, it's noticing that any areas that we haven't been feeling free in, you know, Uranus is going to clear that foundation, you know, where, you know, just for example, like with like the jobs and things, you know, it's like where we got into this place of where now we're all working from home now, you know, these shifts thing, like just a lot of, because Taurus deals with that security, you know, and yeah, just, you know, Uranus is just asking if you have not been feeling, if there's something that's been constricting you in a way that you've been, you know, that's affecting your foundation. How can you free yourself up from that? What do you need to do to get ready for this? I mean, for essentially your future here, since you're getting ready to set the stage here, you star. And I feel like, you know, that's something too, you know. Uranus really wants us to like flex our potential, you know, really thinking about that kind of like, you know, really like how you're going to shine, you know. That's I feel like you're in a very cool place with, you know, with Saturn being in Pisces and, you know, Uranus being in Taurus, because it's like you can take your dreams and then ground them. Take those dreams and then just keep doing that, you know, get into that sort of that 2 of Pentacles type of flow there and really kind of sync up with your energies there, Aquarius. But it's I do feel like that there is a need, because man, just with all this sword stuff, to just kind of maybe get these done. And you know, if you've been thinking a lot, Aquarius, you know, I usually tell like Gemini and Virgo this, but I feel like we can all, and this is not the only way to deal with this, Aquarius, but just maybe one maybe tool, journaling. You know, I've been I read this book, and I need to I got to finish it up here soon. I've been doing so much, but got this book, what is it, the Artist Way. And one thing that I really took from that one that I really enjoyed was the morning pages. And it's just like writing 3 pages every day. You don't got to do that much, Aquarius, but I've been writing 3 pages every day for like the last like almost at least 4 months or so, and it has been very cathartic. You know, I have an air in a strong placement. My moon's in Gemini, and so you couple that with me being a Cancer, I'm thinking about my emotions all the time and the things that's, you know, my environment and things. So it's a lot, and sometimes you need a place to just kind of decompress, and it doesn't have to be anything, just whatever thoughts come to your head. But it's a little sidebar there, Aquarius. But also Jupiter being in Taurus. Jupiter's going to be in Taurus until May 25th, 2024, and with this energy, kind of same type of things. You know, it's like now that we've discovered this, you know, now that Uranus has kind of shown where changes need to be or where change needs to happen, Jupiter is there to learn from that, to grow, to really tap into that King of Swords energy, to get into action so that we can grow, so that we can elevate. And like, for example, I was talking with someone about like the food prices and things, and like, you know, if you've been feeling that, like, you know, groceries have gotten, you know, super expensive, maybe we're like investing in like more kind of bulk things, or maybe even on a grander scale. You know, maybe we're thinking about starting our own garden. You know, maybe you're growing your own kind of fresh herbs, or, you know, if you got like a limited space we're working with, or maybe you got a little more land, maybe we're growing some fruits and veggies and things. My stepdad actually just got back into gardening not too long ago, and that's been a real treat. But you know, any ways that we grow, or maybe even you're thinking about like investing in some land or something along those lines, Aquarius. It doesn't, you know, whatever it is that you're feeling, you know, even financial. Maybe we're maybe finding like a teacher or a mentor, someone who can help like show us a little bit more about those types of things. But that's the type of energy we're in. We're thinking about that long term stability there. You know, really manifesting rainbows. But and depending on where your Aquarius placements are at, this is going to be forming a square with your sign. And so you got some really kind of tougher aspects going on right now. Those are kind of the more tougher too. So might be some internal conflict going down, especially with all the swords that are happening here. You may be feeling some restrictions, some challenges, maybe a little irritated. There may be, and it may seem like that the achievements are being delayed right now, but that's not to say that they're not coming. It's just right now we're in, you know, squares, I feel like remind us, where'd your Queen of Pentacles go? Squares are meant to remind us that, you know, where situations can happen too. It's like, let's say for example, you know, we get like something happens with like our engine or something along those lines, and the car is going to be out for a couple weeks, and so it's like, okay, well, what resources can we tap into? It's like, I got to get to work, let's say for example. It's like, okay, do I take Lyft? Do I have public transportation around me? Maybe I can carpool with someone. It really kind of helps you. It reminds us that even when we feel like in our heads, they're soft reminders of just like, you know, when your back is against the wall, you can do it, Aquarius. So imagine what you can do when you just do it. You know what I mean? When you don't feel that type of pressure, when you want to initiate this change here. That's what squares are meant to bring about. But let's get some get an oracle on this. Nice. Alright, Aquarius. So you have the 6th card of Virgos here, which is the Sap card. With this card, this is a card of resources, needed materials, flow, wealth, essence of life, spring, blood, nourishment, sweetness, energy, vitality, grounded, roots, abundant, physical health, and life force. And the energy that's coming through here, Aquarius, is like the essence of life, and that's very fascinating. I feel like with this energy here, because a lot of the stuff that we're kind of like popping off here was like your essence of life, your vitality, your life force and things. And I do feel like it's paying attention to where your where we are pouring our energies into. I feel like that's a real kind of important here, because, and I mean energy as far as just like our resources, where we're putting our money, where we're putting our time, you know, where we're putting our just all of that, anything that where you're putting your creativity, you know, where you're just anything along those lines. It's paying attention to those. It almost seems like, you see how this guy's got, imagine that these swords on this guy's back here are these what would you call those tree taps that they do for like the to get the sap and the maple out of the trees and things. I feel like it's, if you have something, you know, that's, or have a bunch of things that are just sapping your energy, or maybe you feel spread too thin, even, just because that's another thing with the Seven of Swords. It could be maybe even we're trying to take on too much, maybe even trying to just like over like it's like almost like it maybe even like taking on too much too fast or something along those lines. I wanted to know like all of the things, in which I listen, Aquarius, like I said, Moon and Gemini, I get it. My mind is constantly learning, but there is a need to, I do feel like, again, to take a break, because that stuff does drain from you over time, you know, your brain power, all of those things. So I do feel there is a need to just like, again, you know, maybe in between, like taking maybe more breaks, you know, for this is like if we've been working quite a bit, you know, maybe going for walks, or maybe taking some maybe if we're the type that like it does like a lot of studying, and maybe you're like an avid reader, maybe doing a little more reading for like some pleasure reading, you know, reading some more kind of like nonfiction books, sci-fi, things along those lines, you know, something along those lines. But yeah, let's and you know, just this, yeah, just again, just kind of paying attention, because how Virgo deals with routines, you know, just paying attention to this. He's got a lot of, it seems like a lot of healing energy. I feel like that's kind of coming through here, Aquarius. But let's get yeah, let's get some tarot on this. Thank you. Alright, Chris, let's see what we got here. Nice. Look at you. Ooh, and your ruler. Dang, and alright. Wow. So you have the Lovers. Oh, that's really cool. You have the Lovers, the Wheel of Fortune, and then the World here, Aquarius. And I feel like with your ruler being here, because now we got, and this has been happening a lot too, not for every sign, but when this particularly happens up with signs like this, when the Eight of Cups has been popping up and Saturn and Pisces has been popping up, it's like, I do feel like that for some, there is a need to kind of, because that's a very, very intuitive kind of little pocket here that you're getting with all these majors that popped up. Because the Lovers for me is like, you know, connecting with your higher self, you know, it's really making that divine connection here. And I feel like there is that you are getting ready to get to a new cycle here, but it's going to be one where, because I'm not getting like the more sort of like even like the typical sort of like the abundance and things with the Wheel of Fortune per se. It's more so I'm getting like more the Jupiter aspects of it. There's abundance in that as well, but it's more so that growth of learning oneself. And I feel like that, realizing that you are in control of the world that you manifest here. You know, it almost feels like that, because the Wheel of Fortune is Gemini, or excuse me, the Lovers is Gemini energy, And it just feels like that, how are we connecting with ourselves, and like in let me get a little bit more with the world here, Aquarius. Because even just thinking too, you're starting to get a lot of air in this here. With you got the Lovers and the Justice card here. Actually, Libra got all the fire signs, but you're very interesting energy. Because even oh, hold on, I'm gonna get into that next. Thank you. Okay, Aquarius. Interesting. Here's Capricorn. So you got the worlds clarified by one of the signs that Saturn rules, the Capricorn, the Devil, the Five of Pentacles here, and then you have the Eight of Wands. And so I do feel like that we have some. I do feel like for some that there's this energy of. Just going back to your rainbow here, because the Five of Pentacles can feel like we have, again, this state of lack, or, you know, maybe they're getting in this, you know, whether this is feeling like maybe like financially or even emotionally, spiritually, there's this sense of poverty here. And that, when we stay in that type of energy, Aquarius, that slows down our abundance, the Wheel of Fortune here. It gets the, you know, because that's where, you know, then we get caught up in that swords energy, you know, and that's where, because the thing with the Wheel of Fortune, you know, Jupiter, where, yeah, he's an abundant planet, but he doesn't discriminate as far as like what we're abundant in, you know what I mean? Whether that is, you know, it depends. If you're in devil vibrations, lower vibrations, then that's where we're going to be. But the devil's not just there to keep you in low vibrations. It's the Capricorn energy. They're about work, achievement, accomplishments. And if there is something that needs growth, the devil is there to help you get eyes on that. You know, and this is, I feel like with the Lovers here as well, you know, just with all this, you know, this is a choice of how we can, because you got some strong cycle cards here with the World and the Wheel of Fortune. You can control, I feel like, not just where this cycle goes, but how fast this cycle can go, depending on one, where your mind's at. If we're thinking in this state of lack again, and listen, it's not to say like when we're switching this mindset up maybe with like positive affirmations and staying hopeful in things. It's not just like hoping the problems away. It's when we're able to stay in that positive, in a more positive mindset, we're able to see from a higher perspective to, again, tap into that Queen of Pentacles energy and then get resourceful. And then it's taking that action, that putting in that, oh, look at your devil running, putting in that work, and don't run from this, Aquarius. This is something we gotta face head on. But when you do, there will be abundance. You know, I wasn't getting that initial vibe, but I feel like it's just like there is this sense of just still like connecting with ourselves, and just like, more. Very interesting energy here, Aquarius. And it's gonna be work, even when we're working towards that happiness, fulfillment, and all of that. There are gonna be challenges too, but you're gonna make us stronger, you know. And I listen. I do get that can be, you know, sound a little like a easy thing to say, but you know, you've overcome challenges before, Aquarius, and you'll do them again, like you always do. Now let's talk about Pluto. Get this last energy here, because you got Capricorn here, but Pluto's is in Capricorn. It'll be retrograde until the 10th of October. And with this energy, Aquarius, this is asking, similar to Saturn, you know, being in Capricorn, you know, Capricorn's about like accomplishment, success, and things. And so it's asking you, what does success look like to you? You know, what ways, because Pluto deals with like power, you know, one of the aspects here. And since we were talking about this ego earlier, I feel like it's like, what can you do to really kind of come into your power? What does success look like for you? And what things do we need to let go that's hindering that growth? Is it mindset? Is it addictions? You know, or, you know, whatever this may be. and what can we do to change this stuff, to get this wheel turning in the direction that you want to, Aquarius. Because again, Pluto's getting ready to set the stage for a big transformation for you. I feel you, because Pluto's going to be forming conjunction with you. I know we're going to get ahead a little bit, but when Pluto forms that conjunction with your signs, conjunctions are intense, and Pluto is intense. And so your energies are going to take on that kind of scorpionic flavor, that sort of like real intense kind of like a lot of things from the dark maybe coming up to light here for you, Aquarius. And Pluto does a lot, even when it's like a fortunate aspect. He's a piece of work. And listen, that's not to get you scared or anything. It's just to get eyes on things, to start getting into those routines, so that when those changes do come, they're not as drastic. It's because the wheel is going to keep turning. Life is going to wax and wane, but if we can get like ahead of the energies. That's the point of it, like these readings and things. It's to, okay, this is what I've been operating in. What steps can I start taking to get this thing back in order? So, and then on a more kind of broader scale, Pluto deals with, or Capricorn can deal with like authorities and governments and things, and Pluto too, deals with like that. Again, we're talking about power, so there are going to be a lot of changes in power and authorities, and it's going to be a very interesting time for the collective and for individuals. So, because Pluto does not mess around when he's going to work. So, yeah, I feel like this really is going to be an interesting time for you, and I think that really finding your sense of self and who you really are, what you really are, trying to get a stronger idea of like who you want to become and who you want to manifest. You at a higher vibration. But let's get your all right. I'm with it. Oh yeah. Okay, dope. Look at that. You had a few, Aquarius. Dope. Let's see what we got here, Aquarius. Nice. I love it. And look at you. You got the second card of Leo's, your opposite sign here, which is the Pioneer card. Look at that. Pluto's making you a pioneer. I love it. And this is a card of boldness, destination or bust, the cutting edge, long journey, trailblaze, true grit, challenge, navigating uncharted territory, resourceful, team, got your six, and unflappable courage. In Aquarius, I'm really getting the strongest one that's coming through here is the navigating uncharted territory. And I almost feel that for some, that this is considering again that your ruler is in a very spiritual place for the next 3 years. I think this is a really good reflective time for you, Aquarius, to really be thinking about and for all of us, but I really feel like for you to be the pioneer of your journey. How we're talking about with Venus and Leo, being the artist of your life with confidence. And I don't know, I feel like there's a sense of there's some sort of like unexplored side of you, or this could even be, because maybe for some, even like just thinking with the Seven of Swords, this can be like a card of in like the Zodiac, this could be a card of travel. It can be traveling by land. And maybe for some of us, we are thinking about, in order to find ourselves, maybe we're going on some sort of like on a long journey. Let's say maybe we're thinking about moving, maybe we're thinking about changing careers, maybe we're thinking about whatever this is. But I do feel like that there is this sense of allowing yourself the moments to really kind of discover who you really are, and like how you can trailblaze and how you can be innovative and be even like a leader. And again, Aquarius, this doesn't have to be in like where you're in the public eye or anything along those lines. It's just more so just like, in what ways can we be even just like inspirational, you know what I mean, and bring that because that in itself, I mean, is just powerful. That's co-creation at its finest. And you inspire others. That's that's it. Them moving that on is an extension of you. And I like that. Let's get some tarot on this. And I like that the Gotcha 6 just kind of stuck out to me. And, you know, like with the Lovers, I like to think that that's a card of your higher self, like winking at you. And I feel like higher self has got you 6. Higher self has just got you all over, Aquarius. So it's like it's even in those times when in those darker times when we feel alone, higher self is always there. Sometimes they feel some kind of way when you're not paying attention to them, but overall, higher self has got your back. So let's see what we got here, Aquarius. Nice. Look at you syncing up. Ooh, syncing up with the energies. I love it. Because by now both your rulers are out here, Aquarius, and it looks like it's time to play. I'm with it. I'm getting chills. You got the Two of Swords here. I like that. The Fool, the Strength card, Leo, and the Fool's Uranus, and then the High Priestess, the Moon. And let's switch back over here, Aquarius. You are with this Lovers, Two of Swords, Two of Cups, Two of Pentacles. You are in that's what oppositions are about. Choices. You are in a state of, because after the World, Saturn is the Fool, Uranus, and you're getting ready to start something. You can start something fresh here, start something new, a brand new journey, I feel like of self-discovery, because Leo, they can be, one of the things of the negative aspects of Leo is that they can say they're too egotistical, but I don't feel that this is. See, even with Leo energy, that's a weird. Like I get that, but because I may be a little biased because I got like 5 things of Leo on my chart. It's a bit aggressive, but this does feel like that there's a sense of like coming into a new state of who you are, like finding a power here, Aquarius. But I do feel a need to really tune in to your intuition, and if we're not sure what that looks like, then it's a good start would either be to how do you express creativity, or again finding those things like maybe you find like, I don't know, maybe you're like active dreamers, and maybe keeping like a dream journal by you when you wake up, or before you even check your phone, like allowing yourself that like first hour to just like let your mind kind of roam for a little bit to see what thoughts kind of come up there, or again maybe getting out in nature or whatever that is. But there's the High Priestess is giving me that like even that like fine tune energy there from like that Repairman card. And just thinking, yeah, this is a powerful little pocket here, Aquarius, and I do feel like that you are in a state of, choices and bringing, because the Two of Swords here, this is the Moon in Libra. High Priestess, the Moon. Here's Libra. You're syncing up with the energies in an interesting kind of way here. And so I feel like that's another one too, another emphasis on just paying attention to the choices and going with the one that's going to bring you balance. And I know that may seem like a duh, but sometimes, Aquarius, where we know that something may not feel right for us in that moment, sometimes it's that instant gratification sometimes, and we may forget about that long-term things every now and again, but I do feel like that just making sure that we are just making more harmonious decisions for ourselves, thinking about the future, where we're going to embark on, and just keeping your energy in mind, where you're channeling this stuff here, Aquarius. But I think I'm gonna leave that there. Very very interesting reading. I hope that made sense. But if you find that anything resonates with you, give it a thumbs up, Aquarius, and share this, because it really does feel like, and when we were talking about those emotions earlier, the Moon, the High Priestess, and considering you got the Moon, and this has been kind of happening a lot too, all these lunar shenanigans. A couple of signs have gotten this, but I do feel like there is a need of, again, finding that balance of emotions and logic, bringing that head and heart balance. We just got done with Mercury just left Cancer not too long ago, but that energy doesn't just go away. It's processing what we learned from that and keeping that connection going strong. But getting back into your reading, but share this and then subscribe, hit that bell button if you haven't already. You get notified when I release videos each week. And now I'm on this meditation app. This might be something to check out, Aquarius, Inside Timer. And I started a group on there called Zodiacs Raising the Vibration. And it's just a group to post positive affirmations, encouraging messages, things along those lines. And then as the group grows, I'm going to start doing different like binaural beats and guided meditations, and just start just posting stuff all over the place there, Aquarius. Going like Void of Course with the High Priestess, or Manifesting Abundance with the Wheel of Fortune, I don't know, Carpe Diem with the Fool. I don't know. That's actually a pretty solid one. I kind of like that. But definitely check that out, Aquarius. And then lastly, speaking of cancers, ruling all those cancers, how you start off all those cancer cards. Not that you need them, but if you have any cancer in your placements, Sun, Moon, Rising, I'm on over to my channel, my other channel, The Chariot and Friends. I do videos Monday through Friday there. Absolutely discuss lunar shenanigans, even when they're Pisces. And all that housekeeping down in the description box below. Let me get your surprise card here, Aquarius, so I can get you out of here. Interesting. So you got the Six of Cups here, Aquarius. And for me, before we get your Oracle card, the Six of Cups. The Six of Cups is a card of can deal with the past. And I feel that there's something here that maybe for some there's a need. Just when you had that reflection earlier, I feel like there's a need to reflect on the past and not to get stuck in it, but more so just kind of see how things have been going up until now. It feels that there's something here that, because this can also be like a card of sharing for me, and I almost feel like that, especially with the Lovers, the Two of Cups, those are very kind of like connecting strongly with your higher self to me. And I feel like that your higher self, spirit guides, however you connect with the source, are trying to share things with you, but maybe it's paying attention to maybe how your like gut instincts and things have manifested in the past here. Let me get your Oracle cards here, but there's something here about, it's like looking to, there's something here about that, Aquarius. Oh. All right, hold on. Let me see what your Oracle card is here. Yeah. Interesting. Okay, so you have the Witch Heart in reverse here. And that's interesting. I almost feel like with this, Aquarius, it's like there's a need to see from... Now, hear me out. I hope this makes sense. But it's just like a seeing with your heart. It's very kind of like night... It's very kind of Leo energy. With the Strength card here, and then you have the Knight of Wands. That's another one of their cards. And I feel that there's a need to kind of more so feel with your heart, really kind of tap into that more intuitive space. Do some things maybe over these next, I don't know, like it's interesting. Like it's more so that like, because you can, like, because I'm thinking more so doing things that don't have a lot of structure to them with this Witch Heart, doing more kind of heart-based things, but and that's not to say, like, again, like how I was saying, you can do it with math and things, but it's just like maybe even like finding creative ways to, I'm not, hang on more. Interesting. Okay. So you got the sound card up right here. And I do feel like it's really listening to things that resonate with you, Aquarius, and listening to things that like let's say, for example, you wanted to try like I don't know, mountain climbing, for example, like like I like the sound of that, like yeah, like give that a try, because that you may not, and I'm not saying you're going to just necessarily discover a love for mountain climbing, but maybe there might be some sort of epiphany there while you're doing those things, or just like paying attention to those random little indicators. Maybe you've been hearing I don't know, maybe you've been thinking about something, or I don't know, Chris, it's very, the message that's coming through here is very High Priestess, very kind of intuitive energy that's coming through, and I feel like it's really kind of tuning. When you get these like sensory cards, for me it's also just like being very present, and paying attention to the signs and things, because I do feel like that there's an energy here that's trying to guide you to your heart's desire, to your rainbow in thing, to your wish fulfillment. But we just have to tune in to that frequency and figure out just again what the universe is trying to share with you here. But fascinating. I think I'm gonna leave that there, Aquarius. But you stay safe out there with all these all this maybe potentially self-improvement and just like, learning yourself and things along those lines. Raise your vibration through the roof, however that's looking. Maybe where we got to do for that. And I will catch you on the next one later.